Nothing contained in this podcast should be considered a substitute for professional medical advice. This content does not represent our respective employers and is purely the opinion of the podcast hosts. We are not your personal medical providers. Sorry, friends. So, if you have concerns or are seeking a diagnosis or treatment, please seek individual advice from a healthcare provider in your area. We are not liable for any risks associated with acting upon the information contained in this podcast. This is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only, so enjoy the ride.
Please drink responsibly and in moderation. Before drinking, please be sure to be of the legal drinking age for your country. We do not encourage the misuse of alcohol.
Welcome to Medical Media Mixer, the perfect cocktail. I'm Nicole Peniston, psychologist.
And I'm Tara Prisco, physician assistant. Nicole's down to business. She put her hair up. She's like,
I was so hot.
I know, but like that feels like serious.
Although
at work, when I do put my hair up, they know that it means
you
business.
know it's business. Well, I was going to say there are two things. One, you can't see it, and I don't recommend it for anyone, but it was a lovely idea. I got hair tinsel when I got my hair did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And literally like 50% of it fell out that same day for me just sitting on my fucking couch.
Yeah.
So
now you have tinsel everywhere.
I think the part of it was, so I got my hair dyed and then I wanted a scalp treatment, but she did it in the wrong order. So she couldn't do the scalp treatment because it was strip the hair dye. So she did a conditioning treatment. And I think that made my hair too soft to hold the tinsel.
Got it.
So now at this point, 2 weeks later, it's supposed to last a month. I'd say maybe I have a quarter of it left. That's being generous. There's not that much left, but I still have the stupid little beads in there. So I can't wait till those fuckers fall out because they're annoying me. So that's another reason why I put my hair up, because I don't feel the beads as much when I put my hair up.
Yeah.
So,
those
but also
things, you know,
I made the choice to wear a skirt to work today, which I rarely wear.
Okay.
And I realized that's why I was so hot during our first episode, because I didn't take my Spanx off. And I'm like, I'm at home.
Yeah, no, that makes you all feel
freaking things off, because that heats
I
you
know.
up.
I put my stretchy, not my outdoor stretchy pants, my in the house stretchy pants.
Oh,
these are my indoor stretchy pants. These are
the
like
ladies out there know what we mean. There's indoor pants and there's outdoor pants.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I get it. I got you.
Don't ever mix them up.
Mm-mm.
I got myself some new scrubs too, which is actually nice. I just actually saw some more stuff today. So big brand Figs, they want to support us. They absolutely can, but they're partnering with Noah Wiley and like the Cats of the Pit, and they're doing a lot of education and advocacy for healthcare workers, like to the government and things like that. So
nice.
So I just thought that was cool. They're supporting that, but I got some new scrubs because number one, most of my career, I wore business casual. COVID 6 years ago, we all kind of changed over to scrubs. And then I stuck with it. But then like the scrubs I have, they're still in good shape, but they feel like less like cute.
Yeah.
Trying out
like real cute ones now. Yeah.
Here's the one thing though, that whoever designed this does not work in medicine. Have you ever seen these ones that are like a full
Figs
bodysuit? Well, a couple brands make them.
The full
if
body
anyone
suit,
knows anyone who
terrible.
works in healthcare, you know that you never pee.
I was going to say, you don't have time to take that all off. You don't have time
to take that whole thing off to pee. Looks cute in pictures.
Maybe
not
if
so
you're wearing that, like if you're going into surgery, maybe.
Yeah.
But still.
You have to wear hospital scrubs.
Yeah, like a certain thing.
You can't wear outside scrubs.
But I would assume in surgery, maybe they have like full body ones. So maybe it was marketed towards that.
No, they have
for, like the hospitals to.
No, hospital scrubs are like, washed at the hospital, kept at the hospital.
No, I mean like they made the full body with the idea that maybe hospitals will buy them to use.
But it's just not. It's cute in a distance. But anyway, I got some like wide leg ones. I got some different tops. So trying to look a little fashionable in my scrubs. I'm trying to like walk that line. It was a weird adjustment to me, but now it feels
You're
like
used to it. Yeah.
I'm used to it, and like I don't have to think about clothes.
That's why I wish I could wear scrubs, because I don't want to have to think in the morning.
Yeah.
And I know I don't touch any fluids or the reasons why you would need scrubs, but I just want it for the ease.
Yeah, I mean honestly, like it's not like my scrubs are getting things on them. Like I'm not working in a setting that like I'm going to get like but
well, that's why I'm jealous of folks like you. Like, you can wear a white coat. You can wear scrubs. I have to wear normal people clothing, which for what I do now, that's fine. But when I worked with the littles and I was on the floor all the time.
Yeah. How do you crawl on the floor and like
you need to like, exactly. You need to think ahead, or you need to plan appropriately. And even with like certain types of footwear, when you're working with like the littles, it's hard.
Yeah.
I had a little in my office today. He was just turned 3. And he was not happy to be there. And then I felt even bad because today was not his day for fun. It was mom and dad's day to talk. And so he had nothing to do. And then he was like not happy. He was kind of cranky. It was like probably his nap time. So he's like clinging to mom. And then I had this like little beaded like parrot on my windowsill and he kept looking at it. So I like got it and like gave it to him. He had a full ass meltdown. He was terrified of that thing.
Oh, no.
So then I was like, okay, we're good. I'll move him away. So then, like, I just went to, like, talking to mom, and he, like, kind of drifted in down to sleep, but he was, like, still alert. I tried calling his name. He, like, had a mini meltdown at that. So testing's going to be fun. Aww. But then by the end of the session, like, he started to, like, I don't know if he was just more awake or, like, less cranky, but, like, he, like, would look at me a little. And so, like, we were finished, and I just wanted to, like, give him something because, like, he was good.
Yeah.
You know, he really wasn't as much of a handful as I thought he would be. So I had a tiny little Peppa Pig in my desk.
Aww.
And I was like, do you like Peppa? And I don't think he knows who Peppa is, but he like looked at it and his mom is like, Piggy. And he goes, so I gave it to him. And then as soon as they left the office, his mom put him down and he ran over to dad and like showed it to him, like all excited. I was like, okay, so when he comes here again, he has positive memories.
Exactly. So. We're friends. We can meet again.
Well, he won't be working with me next time. He'll be working with a psychometrist. But I can always pop in and I always try to keep like little like stickers or little things for the kiddos around if they need coercing to do stuff or just if they do a good job. So.
Stickers are a way of life for little ones. They
probably
really
have like 3,000 stickers in my desk.
Oh my goodness.
Well, because I buy them in like the big packs from like Shein where you get like 2,000 stickers. So I've got like 2,000 dinosaur stickers. I've got Christmas stickers, Halloween stickers. I've got baby animals. I've got like everything. So yeah. And then anytime I go to like a conference or something, I'm like hoarding like the stress balls and stuff because like
that's good.
Kids love those things
that's
too.
great.
So I have a whole giant like reusable bag full of like those
Squishies
giveaways.
Are such a thing now. Like such a thing.
And like I find that kids don't care if they're like branded like squishies for like a practice. Really as long as it's squishy, that's all they care about. So
we actually got a new fidget in our house, a ring.
Yes, I have one of those.
Because it's something that's like just enough without being overly distracting.
Yeah. And like you can do it and people don't notice. Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, ooh, that's a
Is it like the wire one that's like, it looks like a mini slinky?
It came with a pack with like 4 or 5 different ones. And so like one like has just beads. One has like a little sting that spins at the top. A couple different ones. Yeah.
Yeah. I also, it's funny we're talking about this because it came up at work and we've never like all like me and like the therapist and the psychometrist, we never talked about like fidgets and like how we use them or how like the kids use them. So I was like, oh my gosh, I just got a bunch of fidgets off of Shein. And so I went in my desk. Have you seen the fidget balls?
Which kind?
So they're like small balls, but they're magnetic, but each ball has a different texture. And so they can all attach. You can like make it into a ring, but you can also like separate them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I brought them out and showed them. And then I had to go in with a patient before the little one. And she was just a talker. Very sweet girl, but a talker. And then I hear this small child come in. So I'm like trying to rush through. And so I message the front desk and I'm like, did they bring the little one? And she's like, yes. I was like, oh no. And then I'm like, I'm trying to finish. She goes, just go play with your balls. It's like, thank you, Melissa. I will play with my balls. So, and I know Melissa listens sometimes. So hi, Melissa. I love you. You're the best. Also, Melissa makes fire empanadas.
Oh,
I told her, like, she brought me empanadas and I was like, girl, can I pay you? Because
now I want empanadas.
They were
or like something in that type of
so
shape.
Good. In that shape?
Yes. Like, because there's Jamaican beef patties. There's different cultures have different things like
That's
that.
True. And they're all slightly different. You're right.
Yeah,
a Jamaican beef patty is not an empanada.
That type now. Like, you made me just want that. So now I'm going to have to go find some.
You want dumplings or something.
Yeah.
You want meats encased in some sort of outer covering.
Yes.
Okay.
Every culture has one.
They do. I was going to say, what do white people have? I'm like, oh, pierogies. Never mind.
Yes, we just have pierogies. Oh, I told you that. I think last time we recorded. Oh my goodness.
My meal boxes that I get, which they can sponsor us. So if Tavala ever wants to sponsor us, and I know I've said that before, they have fire pierogies. Oh. And they have good pot stickers too.
Mm.
Speaking of food wrapped in packages.
See, exactly. Food.
I've never had their empanadas. I don't think they offer them very often.
Yeah.
Because I only remember seeing them like once or twice on the menu. So I told you about my hair tinsel. Yeah, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
I finished the Chloe Gong's second book, Vilest Things.
I've not finished it.
You need to finish
I have to finish the book. I have to finish the most fucked up book ever first.
Yeah.
Then I'll get back to it.
And now I'm reading actually another one. I mean, it definitely has medical
By her?
things in it. No. Another book completely. Frozen River. It's like historical.
You didn't buy that at BookCon?
No, I have so many books on my list.
Same.
I have to jump around, and my mood definitely like varies. So it's like a historical fiction right after Revolutionary War. It gives me very much how Claire from Outlander is, like, not time travel and any of that, but how she is as a person. Like, this is like a midwife / medicine type woman, and like her taking care of people, and somebody got killed, and you know, figuring out who did it. And I don't know, it gives me definitely the like Claire vibes, like the character very much. But so far, a pleasant read. My brain sometimes needs to jump to completely different.
No, I feel you.
Things.
I need to finish You Weren't Meant to Be Human. Then I'm going to finish the second Chloe Gong book, and then I have planned, because you know I love a retelling of an old myth or story, so I'm going to read Lilith in preparation for possibly what may be my Halloween costume when we go to New Orleans. I may be Lilith, who, if you do not know, it was Adam's first wife, and she refused to submit. And I was like, that bitch is me. I refuse to submit. I mean, she then became like the demon and like the goddess of vampires, apparently, which I'm not hating on, but
there's a whole lot.
Didn't go well for her after that, so it's
Don't mind me, I'm chewing on a gummy shark.
I know, I saw you. A gummy shark. Couldn't help it.
That was definitely a big part of my kids' childhood.
Had to do that. You know what? Speaking of kids' childhood, randomly we're also talking about today how bizarre Teletubbies was. That was like a fever dream.
Why did that come up? That came up again in something.
It's making a resurgence. It's like a thing again.
Well, they're freaky.
I don't feel like it was helpful for childhood development because none of them actually spoke.
Right.
They didn't really do much other than walk around strangely. Like, how is that helpful for childhood development?
No. If they're not speaking, there's no like words. They're not really showing emotions. They're just like...
They're not really doing it. They're just wandering around.
There's a random happy baby in the sun.
The baby son creeped me out the most. Seriously.
You hear that laugh in your sleep.
That was crazy.
I am hearing right outside my window
a bird
that
I could hear it. You just picked it up. Yeah.
It's like very, very like sing-songy.
I have a bird. They must have a nest. There it goes again.
Yeah.
It must have a nest outside my bedroom window, and every morning, like clockwork at 4 a.m., it tweets.
Yes.
Every morning, which is better than the woodpecker we used to have. So
true.
I will take it over the woodpecker.
Yeah. The woodpecker, when I've heard them in the past, but when I saw one, it surprised me how like large and violent it is.
They're aggressive. I used to have one who would pound on the siding of my house.
Yes, on our gutters too.
And I was like, dude, you're going to break your little beak. There was literally a dent in the siding. I had to have it replaced.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's a little much.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't been around for like 2 years, so hopefully he has found something else to peck at.
I don't know how long they live. So
I don't know the life. And I only ever saw the one, so I'm like, maybe he found a mate and they moved on.
Oh, nice story.
Are woodpeckers male? I just assumed they were male.
I mean, well, there have to be
Sorry,
females.
I don't mean to misgender you, woodpecker, if you're listening. So, of course, the woodpeckers are listening to this podcast. We serve all kinds.
What's the woodpecker for the cartoons?
Woody
Woodpecker? Yes.
Did you literally just ask that? You really just asked what is his name?
Sorry, my brain sometimes doesn't compute.
Yeah.
All right. Well, different animal altogether, but we can talk a little bit about
it's still an animal,
topic.
Though. We're on theme.
So my drink.
When this comes out, will it be Shark Week?
It's in July. When is Shark
We'll just call it
Week?
Shark Month. That's fine.
2026 is the 26th through August 1st. And this comes out the 13th. This is a preview the week prior to Shark Week. This is so you can be ready and scared. That's what it is.
And I'm going to let you talk, but I know I've mentioned it before. I've watched a ridiculous number of shark movies and documentaries, so I have a lot to share. But you can go first.
Okay. So cocktail. So my cocktail is actually a mocktail, and then I made it a cocktail because I don't know. I was looking through so many drinks, and then the one that like looked coolest in the picture ended up being a mocktail. So they're using blue curacao syrup. I used actual blue curacao. So 1 ounce of blue curacao syrup, 4 ounces of pineapple juice, ice, 4 ounces of Sprite, grenadine, and gummy sharks. I threw some vodka in there too because, you know, Goes with everything.
I'm questioning my life now because I've used blue curacao syrup, assuming it was the same as regular blue curacao.
Yeah, blue curacao in the liquor store is like, 16% alcohol or whatever. And then there's, I guess, a syrup that's just like a blue syrup.
I guess I've been making drinks wrong for the last 6
I think
months.
that's like an equivalent to sort of how grenadine is like a non-alcoholic-y syrupy thing. So you take the blue curacao and the pineapple juice. First, you combine them. Then you fill your glass with ice. You pour that in, throw in my vodka for a little extra something. And then you pour your Sprite over it, throw your little gummy shark in, and then drizzle your grenadine for the blood to be dripping down.
It would probably be good with rum, too.
Oh, rum, absolutely. So now my blood is settled at the bottom.
Yeah.
But I sent you a picture and a video so you can kind of have that for the socials.
Yes.
So obviously we're talking about sharks.
I don't think I've ever posted a video on the socials. This will be an experiment.
I mean, you don't have to do a video. You could do the picture.
Girl, I'm going to do the video.
To you. Have fun. So I'm going to cover 2 movies related to sharks. One older, one not super new, but newer. And then Nicole can comment on all the ridiculous shark movies that I know she knows about. That'll be fun.
Not just movie. It's mostly documentaries, honestly. It's not so many. Oh,
you're not talking like Sharknado and like...
I mean, I have watched Sharknado 1 and 2. Is there a 3? If there is, I've watched it. I also watched, what is it, the one where the shark gets into the Seine and is terrorizing Paris? I watched that one.
Yes.
I watched Megalodon and Return of Megalodon.
Yes.
But no, I've watched a lot of really interesting shark documentaries that I can talk about later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first I'm going with the OG, Jaws. And so
which I've never seen.
I know, you mentioned that. I mean, I've seen it 2 to 3 times, not like
all I know is
amount.
that we're going to need a bigger boat.
You got it. Exactly. So it inspired me actually for this episode because I was listening to an episode of Morbid where they covered the real life shark attacks in New Jersey.
Yes, I saw that on their listing.
That inspired the movie. So the real life, just really quick, shark attacks in New Jersey were back in like 1916, like nothing
very early,
recent whatsoever. But basically the shark, the same great white shark, is started out in Beach Haven, which is down like LBI area. Then it struck in Spring Lake, which is north.
LBI is Long Beach Island, for those who don't know New Jersey.
Sorry.
It's okay.
And then Spring Lake, which is north of that, and then ended up in the Matawan Creek, which is even further north of that. And it made its way like up the river into the creek.
Which is like not technically a creek. Isn't it more of like a bay area? Like I know it's
Matawan,
called creek.
No. So you're thinking maybe Manasquan. That's a little bit more of like the Shark River and all that, called the Shark River, obviously. Right. Probably related
but like
to
that creek is not like truly like what people think of like a creek, like a little tiny stream of water.
I mean, people were swimming in it. It was,
it's a larger body of water. But.
Yeah. So, then there was the book for Jaws written by Peter Benchley. And then, of course, the most famous, the movie by Steven Spielberg, directed it. 1975. So
I thought you said Stephen King for a minute. I was like, really?
Spielberg, yeah.
Yes.
So the real life was in like the early 1900s. The movie takes place in the 1970s. So, but
interruption briefly. Do you know about the murder mystery that centers around Jaws?
No, tell me.
So a woman who was supposedly an extra in Jaws, who they believe, and I actually think they solved this case recently. It was a cold case, but they called her the Woman of the Dunes. They found a woman dead in the dunes. Okay. And then by doing like age progression and like facial reconstruction and things like that, they believe that she was an extra in Jaws. Okay. And then they were trying to like figure out who she was. I know they did solve it, but I don't remember what the outcome was. But that was the Jaws connection to them.
Interesting.
A true crime connection for you.
Always a true crime connection.
Yes.
So what's interesting is Jaws was rated PG, which nowadays, maybe because of the level of gore, probably would have been a higher rating, more PG-13 or I don't think R because there's not like cursing and stuff.
Is there sex in it or nudity?
No, but I think it's just like the violence itself. So Roy Schneider plays Chief Martin Brody. Richard Dreyfuss is the young marine biologist, which Richard Dreyfuss is a young man. I feel like he's always been an older man.
He was a young man once.
Robert Shaw is Quint, and then Lorraine Gary is Ellen Brody, and Murray Hamilton is the mayor. from Larry Vaughn. So basically it follows similar to the real life story. Basically a woman is killed by a massive great white shark off the coast of Amity Island, which I think they're supposed to be in New York or Rhode Island.
Yeah, I was going to say that's...
No, New England Beach Town. I'm sorry. Here we go. Somewhere in New England.
I thought it was further
Rhode
up from
Island.
New York. Yeah.
So a tourist-dependent New England beach town. The police chief wants to close the beaches immediately, but the mayor says, hey, this is, our high season, so we're not going to close the beaches, which is very similar to the real life story. So go look that up or listen to Morbid's episode on it, but that's exactly what happened in the real life. And then a second fatal attack, this time was a child in broad daylight in front of a crowd, forces the town to kind of like say, all right, something's going on here. So Brody reluctantly partners with his marine biologist, Matt Hooper, and the local shark hunter, Quint. Quint is like the character here. He's the guy with all the quotes. He's the guy.
The bigger boat dude?
Yep.
Which I saw recently. That was improvised.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. So the three men take out Quint's old boat called the Orca into open water to hunt and kill the shark.
And why was it called the Orca?
Because we used to call those killer whales back in the day.
Well, no, because that is the only predator of sharks are orcas.
Orcas. Okay.
Yeah, they're the only ones that can kill sharks, especially great whites.
Have you ever been, was it Universal Studios? There used to be a Jaws thing on one of the rides where like you were in the boat and the fake Jaws would come out.
Sadly, no.
Trying to simulate that.
Look, for a very, 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 very short amount of time, I wanted to be a marine biologist.
You did mention that once.
And then I wasn't very smart in science, so it didn't happen.
I mean, what you do is science adjacent. It is science.
I mean, if you want me to talk about the psychology of sharks.
That's a whole nother.
They quote unquote never sleep, which is not true. They do sleep, but they just move while they're sleeping.
Yeah. So basically when they finally got to see this shark up close is approximately a 25-foot long. Think about how big that is.
I don't know numbers. Is that a football field or smaller? I sound real dumb right now.
I don't know how long football fields
I feel like
are.
A football field is probably
longer.
Much bigger than that.
Yes.
A quarter of a football field
is like half a house length, half my house length. I think my house might be 50 feet in one direction.
I know that I am not 6 feet.
Yes.
So it's taller than me.
It is. It's approximately 4-point-something times your height.
It's about 4.5 Nicoles.
Yes, actually. My youngest child, we call her a Bubba. Bubba is a nickname. Mm-hmm. And I bought this big cooler from Costco. And she's like, a Bubba could fit in there. And then my husband was like, we're going to use that as a unit of membership.
A new
measurement.
Yeah, a new unit of measurement. So yeah, a shark. This shark was 4.5 Nicoles or maybe like 12 Bubbas.
Approximately, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen her in a while, so she's probably taller.
She's grown a little.
Yeah.
But basically the shark like systematically dismantles the boat. Like it's smart. It attacks them with like specificity, like it knows what it's doing. It's not just raging. And it kills Quint, basically, and drives Brody to climb the sinking mast before he destroys the shark by shooting like a pressurized scuba tank into its mouth.
Now, this might be jumping ahead. Isn't it a female shark?
I don't know if it's a male or female. Mm-hmm. I don't remember that part.
Something, one of these, it was specific to a female shark, but
yeah,
I could be making that
up. So, I mean, it was a big movie. It won 3 Oscars. So, hey, the score, I mean, the sound is like, everyone knows that. Who would have
thought
you don't
like
know
5 notes would just like live rent free? Or it's probably
John
not 5,
Williams,
it's probably like 3.
He's also the composer for E.T. He's a composer for, I believe, Star Wars. He's a composer for all of the big things of the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was nominated for Best Picture, but it lost to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I was going to say, I know what it lost to because I've heard those stats before, but I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
That was a big year
for movies, though.
I guess so. And so back then, $476 million worldwide it made on a $9 million budget. It was the highest grossing film of all time until Star Wars. So 2 years later, Star Wars beat it out.
And I feel like they still show it when they do movies on the beach in New Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah. And they call it the first summer blockbuster. So like it changed how we release movies. Like these are summer blockbusters. These are like the winter break ones. These are the Thanksgiving ones. Obviously the Halloween ones. Mm-hmm. And it's actually not 5 notes. So there's John Williams'
it's
2-note,
Oh, I thought
2-note theme, the most recognizable film scores.
Yeah, it's just the 2 notes back and forth.
And it's named to the Library of Congress National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Sounds very fancy for a
I feel
movie
like
about a shark.
culturally it is. I feel like it probably made a lot of people more cautious about going into the water.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are literally people all day who say that their fear,
Is
is
sharks.
because of that.
Which I'm sure the statistics of an actual shark attack are much, much smaller,
Yes.
but still.
Yeah. But, this kind of depicts the intelligence in a shark that hunts humans with intelligence, intent, like actually knowing what it's doing. Real great white sharks are apex predators. Humans are not the preferred prey, but the film preys on that and then developed. Like I said, there are definitely people of that generation who absolutely have a huge fear of going in the ocean because of this. So, and the guy who wrote the book, interestingly enough, he spent the rest of his life advocating for shark conservation.
Yes, because I heard some statistic about how after that movie,
Yeah.
people trying to kill sharks increased.
Yep.
Leave the sharks alone, everyone.
Yeah, they're an important part of our
Ecosystem.
ecosystem,
Ecosystem.
biosphere. Yes, all of those things.
I mean, I look at it this way. You don't bother them, they ain't going to bother you.
Right. So the more modern, still not that modern, 2011, other movie I'm going to talk about is Soul Surfer. Do you remember this story based on a real life story?
I didn't see the movie, but I remember the real life story.
Yeah. So it's based on the 2004 memoir called Soul Surfer.
And her name is Bethany something?
Yep, Bethany Hamilton. So basically it follows the real life story, and I'll talk a little bit about both. I did watch it. A lot of interesting people in there. Helen Hunt plays Bethany's mother. Dennis Quaid plays the father. Carrie Underwood.
Dennis Quaid always plays the father.
Carrie Underwood plays the youth leader at her church. Kevin Sorbo plays her best friend's father and her surfing mentor. Craig T. Nelson even is in there as a surf coach. Good old coach from the TV show back in the day. I don't know if you remember.
I have to say from the TV show Coach.
Yes.
Was it the Comic-Con that you went to that we saw Kevin Sorbo?
No, I don't think so.
He does not look the same anymore. Like, he doesn't look bad, but like you would walk past him and not even know.
Not know it's him.
Like, it's not the long hair anymore. He's still pretty buff, but still.
Yeah.
He's no Hercules anymore.
So the movie definitely tells her story, and her real life story is also intertwined with her faith. So that definitely plays a role in the movie because that was part of how she got back to who she is. So the story is this young girl, Bethany Hamilton, both her parents were pro surfers. She lived in Hawaii. Her life was homeschooling, surfing. Best friend is also a surfer. Best friend's parents are surfers. It couldn't be like a better life type of thing. She was already competing in the junior level of the professional surfing world, and her friend, at least in the movie, were supposed to have like a sponsor where these bathing suits that they were going to do like a movie shoot for and things like that. And in the movie, the way they showed it, she went off with the friend and the friend's father and some siblings to go surfing. And where they had to go surfing to this particular beach, you couldn't just drive up and park you had to park and then walk through this sort of dense forest in Hawaii to get to this secluded beach. But that was a really cool beach. And they show her in the water, and it happens pretty suddenly. And they do show a lot of detail and a lot of gore, but essentially the shark comes up and it bites her arm and it bites her board. And immediately her friend's father takes charge, gets her off, uses the surfboard sort of as like a, gurney for her, rapidly ties off her arm to stop the bleeding. And then they carry her on the surfboard through the woods to get back to their pickup truck. And then they're in their pickup truck calling ahead to the ambulance, but they want to like start going in that direction because they're in such a remote area to meet the ambulance to save time, calling her parents to try and meet them at the hospital. And essentially she had a significant portion of her arm bitten off just above the elbow.
And you're probably going to talk about this, but I've heard that a lot of times the sharks think it's a seal or another animal struggling. And so that's why they go for the arms and the legs, because if you're surfing, those are the moving parts. They're not going for the surfboard. They
see that reflection from underneath and they see sort of this flapping and they think it is like a struggling animal of some sort.
Yeah, because they tend to go after wounded prey in the wild, but then if something looks like that, they're going to go after that too.
Yeah. And in this, interesting, of course, because it's like a small, little town in Hawaii. Like the doctor knows everybody. In the movie, the doctor's about to do knee surgery on her father and gets the call there's a trauma coming in and it hits his daughter. I don't know if that part's true, but it brings in the whole dynamics of the community. And it basically cut off like just below her shoulder in a single bite. She loses more than 60% of her blood volume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because think of
And
all the veins and arteries there.
yeah, I mean, and so, they follows her physical and mental recovery because it's obviously, a little of everything.
Yeah, and she was very
And
young, wasn't she? Like
13,
yeah,
13.
so little.
So they show just simple things at home, her not being able to do things. And later, like they show like her family like was going to cut up some fruit to go sit outside. And
Mm-hmm.
they show the evolution of her trying to like sit on the floor and like use her foot to hold one thing still so she could use her other arm to cut it and like trying to figure out like, how do I do things
I'm
now?
thinking of basic things. How do you pull your underwear down and go to the bathroom? Like
Yeah.
little things
What?
I think we take for
Right.
granted until
Right.
you have to deal with it.
And in the movie, they show that this company who wants to make a prosthetic for her,
Mm-hmm.
and then like she shows up to they want to take pictures and do a big commercial of her using this prosthetic, but she realizes it's not functional, it's just for looks.
Mm-hmm.
So she can't use it to push up on a surfboard. She can't use it to do the things she needs to do. So she's like, screw that, like she gets rid of it. But the big turning point in both the movie and her real life is she's involved in this youth group, and they actually go to Thailand, to an area that was affected by a tsunami. And she works with like traumatized children, and she sort of teaches them about the water and playing in the ocean. And it sort of helps to reframe how she thinks about things.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's so crazy that like she still has this love of the water after that happened.
Oh, she never wanted to stop. She immediately wanted to get back in. So, and throughout the movie, they have this like little competition with this other girl. And it's interesting. So her and her friend are like blonde. And my husband was watching this with me, pointed out that the bad girl has like darker hair.
Of course.
And like,
Of course.
so like in the end, their competition, and she actually thanks her, like, thank you for always pushing me and never giving me like the easy out.
Yeah.
And they show her basically qualifying for this big championship, placing 5th on equal terms against all these people with 2 arms, because they show her balance. How do you get up on a board?
Balance.
How do you get from on your belly to up without 2 arms? Like,
not only that, like you need the balance when the waves are coming, and we forget we use our arms
about it
to balance.
She had to reframe everything she did. So it's a cute movie, a little cheesy. But I watched it also with my youngest child. It was like completely appropriate for her. She is not scared by the gruesome part. A little, sort of lesson in the end about perseverance. So it's it's a family movie. If you want to look away during the gory part, it's literally like one part. But the real life is the girl Bethany, who was born in 1990 in Kauai. She was an amateur surfer, and it actually occurred on Halloween morning at the beach in Kauai. And it was a tiger shark that was approximately 14 feet long. It was later identified by tooth fragments, and they matched it up when they caught it. They matched it up to the board to see like the size of the bite of the board.
Yeah.
And basically the tourniquet on her arm is what saved her.
So she didn't bleed out. Yeah.
Exactly. And she won some stuff. She continued to compete.
Did she become a Paralympian?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
I feel like I'm confusing her with someone else who had some sort of injury.
Yeah. Since she founded something called Friends of Bethany, which is a nonprofit supporting shark attack survivors and amputees around the world. And she continued surfing competitively and recreationally until the mid-2020s. So basically now.
Yeah.
So, it shows kind of like 2 things, like Jaws, where like we have no hope, to like somebody who can like come back from this.
Yeah.
So
I've seen that a lot, stories about like shark attack survivors, especially like I think it's more of the athletes, like the surfers, the swimmers, the scuba divers, who still maintain kind of this respect for the water and don't have a fear of it, because I think they loved it so much before. They don't want to lose that part of their life because of this bad experience.
Right. Absolutely. Little stats. Globally, 1,034 shark attacks since the 90s. Mostly limb injuries. Fatal attack rate is about 22.7% of those. So,
but is that the actual attack or the injuries, like died from the injuries? Like how many are dying in the attack? I don't think it's very many.
It doesn't say like, if they died today or they died 2 days later. I don't know.
I think it seems from like what I've seen or heard that it's rare to die instantly in the attack. It's more after from complications.
So, they're saying the incidence is increased, but mortality has decreased because of improved medical care.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly, the victims are male, 82 to 96%, probably just because of the types of activities that they're engaging in.
And they're
just
probably
like
larger in the water.
car accidents, other things. It's just certain risk-taking behaviors tend to affect males. Median age is 29 years old, mostly Caucasian, because most surfing countries are going to be things like the US and Australia is huge for surfing. So
And
that's
surfing is an
happens.
expensive sport too. So
Yeah. 36.7% of global attacks are in North America and 26.5% are in Australia. And within the US, 49.1% are in Florida and 13.6% are in California.
Not that many in Jersey.
No.
Despite the movie.
Exactly. But surfing is definitely the dominant activity associated with this. And swimmers and boaters have higher fatality rates, though, than surfers. I'm not sure why exactly, but here's another little funny stat. Spearfishing in clear water equals more non-fatal attacks. Well, you got a weapon. I don't understand.
But you're also killing animals, which is putting blood in the water, which is attractive.
Yeah, I guess. But like you had said, from below, a paddling surfer on a board looks nearly the same as a seal or a sea lion. White sharks.
That's what I was thinking when you said men, because they're probably larger in size and look more similar
possibly,
than like a smaller, because the sharks aren't going after the little fish.
No, and the white sharks' primary prey are pinnipeds, same size, shape, motion as a human on a surfboard. And they're usually like just a test bite. Once they realize what it is, most of the time they disengage.
Yeah, we don't taste good to
what
them.
I planned on. And that's why most are non-fatal. They peak in winter months and afternoon hours, which is when the coastal shark presence is there. And bull sharks are especially implicated in this one area called La Réunion, which I believe is in Australia. And then survival rate by species. So bull sharks, 62% survival, tiger sharks, 75% survival, and white sharks, 53%. So if you want to get bit by a white shark, I guess.
If you want to get bit by a shark, go to your psychiatrist because something ain't right.
Yeah, I think that's
it's a very, very niche fetish.
So what gets bitten? Legs are definitely the most common. Arms are second most common. Limb loss is only about 7%. And, 83% of the people require some sort of soft tissue procedure, whether that's debridement, using a flap to cover a skin graft. About 59% actually need orthopedic intervention, which might be setting a bone or an amputation. And 28% had neurovascular injuries, so nerve repair. 11% actual amputation. Most people, it is, like we said, limbs. Hemorrhage is the primary killer. And if you get bit in that session more than once, so 3 or more bites in that one session, of course, your fatality risk is going to be much higher. And, they talk about how those pre-hospital tourniquets really improve things in the long run. So things to think about. If you're ever in the circumstance, I hope none of our listeners ever are, but stop the bleed. So tourniquet application, that can be tying anything essentially around that limb.
But a lot of first aid kits have a tourniquet in them these days.
They do. But like taking something, anything you got, rapid transport, do not wait, get them there. They will go straight to the operating room in most circumstances. Always still your ABCs, your airway, breathing, circulation, hemorrhage control. Most people, like I said, go directly to the OR. They often need to clean these wounds out. I will
because
get to
animal mouths are dirty.
Yeah, and seawater. So I'll get to the particular bacteria in a few more bullets. But essentially, the preferred way to fix these is called a delayed primary closure. So 24 hours after injury, probably because they need to clean it out and control all the other risks.
Yeah.
And really, any marine wound is considered contaminated. So if you completely close it right away, you're trapping the bacteria, increasing your infection risk. So think like a dog bite that got soaked in ocean water and multiply by 10, and that's like your risk right there.
I don't even know what circumstance would happen if you had a dog bite soaked in ocean water.
I bet somebody would use that as a way to think that they could make it better.
Okay. I mean, people have done stranger things.
Obviously replantation of like the tissue is, if it's viable, is great, but often is not going to work because this tissue would necrose very quickly.
Well, it's unlikely you're going to be able to grab the piece of arm. Yeah. It's not like it's a finger where you can just find it and attach it. It's
Right.
gone.
So shark mouths have very distinct microbiome. So not the same as anything else. So Vibrio is the biggest thing, 20% of their oral flora, and it's the most dangerous. Pasteurella would be next. And then other things are salt-loving type bacteria. So they wouldn't grow in other places. But you always need to make sure that if they're taking cultures, that they know that they have to run for these atypical bacteria. Like that's not something you would normally culture for. Like that wouldn't come up in something because we're not looking for it. So saying this is a marine wound, we need special things run.
When I would assume hospitals that are closer to the oceans, maybe
Probably
they're more likely to know to check that. It's not like you're in Kansas and got to treat a shark bite.
I mean, there's a little side note on this, not quite the same, but when we were up in Michigan and my oldest child got a cut on her foot in the lake, and the same lake I grew up my whole life in and never had to wear like water shoes, but apparently there's invasive species of zebra mussels. I had no idea, but we went to the ER because she actually required stitches, and he's like, yep, he works up here in northern Michigan. He's like, yep, that's a zebra mussel cut. And he's like, I bet there's more pieces in here. And he like fishes more pieces out. I would have never known that because it's not going to ever cross me where I live. But yeah, people who work in those areas are going to have the expertise.
I'm also thinking with like a shark bite, the way that their teeth are kind of like hooked and there's several rows of them, that bite is going to need different treatment versus like a dog bite where it's one row of teeth and they're kind of straight versus curved. Damage. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Treatment for antibiotics is usually quinolone, so that's ciprofloxacin or levofloxacin, sometimes third-generation cephalosporins, sometimes doxycycline, definitely IV antibiotics for these serious things. Penicillins will not work in this. Erythromycin and first-generation cephalosporins will not work with this. They just don't work for those particular bacteria. Florida black tip sharps specifically, so you can use something called Bactrim is the brand name because the generic name's too long. But that's another option in that very, very specific. No matter what they do, aggressive antibiotics, tetanus, stop the bleeding. Those are all the things that we do. But long-term outcome, typically acute hospitalization is usually 4 or 5 days. Complex cases can be like 50 days. Long-term disability from nerve injuries, amputations, reconstruction, return to activity levels. There's going to be a lot of therapy involved in this. But it's gotten a lot better. Like the survival rates have risen exponentially. And then, of course, on your expertise, of course, after a traumatic event like this, people are going to have PTSD. Absolutely. I mean, that's something that has to be taken into consideration.
Well, I think it's especially something like that. Like we as humans do not need to be in the water. So it is definitely an easier situation to avoid if you have trauma for it, which means you may not be processing the trauma and moving through it. If it's something you can just easily be like, well, I just don't go to the beach anymore.
Right.
But like I was saying before, I think a lot of people who are involved in these, they want to get back to it. So they might be more willing to work on that stuff in therapy.
Oh, yeah. These people are hardcore with their activities and sports, which is a good driving factor.
Right. And I think a lot of them realize like this is that shark's environment and they were just doing what sharks do, And then also saying like, I didn't necessarily do anything wrong. It just was circumstance. And I think that helps too, because anytime someone's dealing with trauma, there's always this element of feeling out of control. And that is a situation. You're not in control with a wild animal. And you never will be as much as you try. And so I think depending on their relationship with the ocean or with animals or things like that, I think people have different levels of where they can be in their trauma and their healing. But if it's, somebody who was at the beach and got randomly attacked by a shark, they could easily avoid going to the beach or being around sharks the rest of their life and it won't impact them. But that doesn't mean that they're not having startle response or nightmares or triggers or other PTSD symptoms.
And then also the injury itself, if it's disfiguring, if there's limb loss, if there's damage, then there's an adjustment to that.
Functionality.
Absolutely. So the other thing, which I didn't think about, but it's mentioned here, is that most of these are going to be picked up by the media. Because how often does this happen? So a negative media experience increases the odds for PTSD. It's actually the single largest risk factor for PTSD in a shark bite is having the media coverage. They're saying that 61% of respondents reported media coverage lasting months to years, which would keep rebringing it back up and cause a real issue.
Well, and the other part of any situation that gets involved with media coverage is now you become the person this happened to. You're no longer yourself, or other people think they know you or they know your experience because you're in the media. And so there's that whole level of it that I think it's hard for people who haven't been in that situation to relate to. It could be hard for me as the therapist to understand truly how that feels. I could talk about it. I can try to understand it, but I'm not going to know how it feels to be at the grocery store and somebody's like, oh, you're the one who was bitten by a shark. You know, that's not a common experience.
Is the other people who were the first responders or the family members or the other people there. So they do touch on that in the Bethany Hamilton movie, that her best friend who saw all this happen, like she had a lot of trouble dealing with it because she saw her friend almost die.
The survivor guilt.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, luckily, knock on wood, you know, the odds are low.
Yeah.
But now we know what we got to do.
Yeah. And I don't think it's true that you just punch a shark in the nose. I don't think it's quite that simple.
I do not know. I did not see anything mentioned that we should do that. Yeah. I don't think we should recommend that.
But I will say, well, did you have more before I tell you my shark stories?
Tell me all your shark stories.
So I didn't realize this until I looked it up. There are not 1, not 2, not 3.
Okay.
Not 4, but 6 Sharknado movies.
Wow.
And I think I've seen 4 of them because I definitely forgot about like 1 or 2 of them.
How many times could this happen?
I mean, the Sharknado just keeps on fucking coming back. Now, I don't know the true name of it, but there was a documentary. This is a documentary, not a Sharknado-like movie, about cocaine sharks. Did you hear about that?
Oh, I mean, I heard of cocaine bears, so cocaine sharks.
Similar but different. So with cocaine sharks, basically what was happening were people were transporting cocaine from South America to the U.S., but if they were going to get caught, they would dump the cocaine into the ocean. And then some sharks, it wasn't like all the sharks, had gotten into the cocaine and were acting erratically. But I don't think it was like cocaine bear where now it was like trying to attack people or something, which even that wasn't true with cocaine bear. A bear just got into some cocaine and was acting bizarre, and that was it. But it was a thing. But that does track. You know, when people are shipping these drugs, they want to get caught, they're going to dump them. Somebody's going to eat it. Something's going to eat it. Something's going to come across it. So that was that. And then there's did you see the documentary? Well, let me talk about this one first. The movie The Shallows.
No.
Came out in 2016, including the girl we all love and hate, or I just love to hate her, Blake Lively. It was like one of those shark attack movies. This movie was so bad. It was me, and I think I went with our friend Diana. I can't remember, but there were not very many people in the movie, and we were cheering when the shark was attacking her because we were like, is this over yet? It's so bad. The best part of that movie was like multiple Sia songs are on the soundtrack. That was the only good part of the movie. So that was a recent shark attack movie, but a really, really cool movie. It's a documentary on Netflix called The Shark Whisperer. Have you seen this?
No.
So it's a woman who's a free diver, and she free dives. So that means using very minimal equipment, mostly just breath training to hold your breath. She free dives with sharks.
Okay.
And has done it so often that she's kind of developed a rapport with this certain group of sharks where she can go down and literally like pet them and stroke them and swim with them.
Okay.
The documentary is good, but I also think, and it got a lot of flack because it kind of just makes like, oh, just go swimming with the sharks. They're cool. Where they do talk about the risks, how it's not always safe. But this particular person is able to do this. And she is a big advocate for saving the sharks, preventing shark poaching and all that kind of stuff. So that's a really interesting documentary. That I want to say that came out either beginning of this year or end of last year. It's relatively new, and that's on Netflix. And then this really cool reality TV competition show that I watched.
Okay.
Also on Netflix. It's called All the Sharks.
All the sharks.
And so it's 4 teams of shark experts. So these are marine biologists, people who study sharks, people who work in research. And they go to these tropical locations to track down the most elusive sharks in that area. And all they have to do is photograph them. But like they do diving and stuff, and they get photographs of them. And then, you know, you get points, and whoever gets the most points gets money to donate to either like their research or something.
That seems like a very niche group of people to be on that show.
Yeah, these are all professionals. They know what they're doing. But it was a really cool show because they were talking about like the environmental impact of hunting sharks and how likely attacks are and all that stuff. And there's one particular woman on the show. She is a researcher, and she did survive a pretty significant shark attack. And she said it took her about 3 or 4 years to get back in the water.
Jeez.
And then what's super triggering for her is one of the locations they go to was exactly where she was attacked.
Oh, wow. I'm sure they did that on purpose because you got to get a little drama in the show.
Probably.
You know?
But she dove. She was scared, but she did it. She overcame her fear. But All the Sharks, pretty prime TV show. I enjoyed it because it was a lot about education about the different types of sharks, the myths about sharks, how to support them, about pollution and how to limit that. So it was a pretty cool show. I don't think it got a lot of traction on Netflix, but I watched the whole damn thing. So watch that on Netflix.
All the shark movies, but Sharknado, I mean, that seems like a fever dream. Like who imagined that? What drugs were they on when they came
I
up
blame
with that?
Tara Reid. She not only starred in it, it was her idea. Pretty sure it was her.
I don't know.
It was Tara Reid. She did it. I mean,
oh my goodness. Well, people,
got to do something.
Stay safe in the water. Don't be afraid. I know it's the middle of the summer right now and you guys are going to be going to the beach. But if you do get bit by a shark, get a tourniquet and get to a hospital.
I'm going to say, I really hope that none of our listeners nor anyone they know gets bit by a shark.
I think we'll be okay. I think we're good. We're not wishing any.
You're more likely to get sunburned, but also don't do that either.
Wear sunblock. Definitely.
Use SPF. Stay out of the sun.
Yes.
Be healthy. Don't drink and suntan. It's not healthy for you either.
No, you'll be a dehydrated, shriveled up raisin.
Let's be real. We've all done it, but let's not do it again.
Yeah, let's not fall asleep in the sun after a few cocktails.
No, it's not good for anyone. Sight. It's not.
All right, so thank you for listening to Medical Media Mixer.
The perfect cocktail.
Cheers.
It looks like there's blood in the bottom of my glass, but
yeah,
it's really just pomegranate seeds.
The blood.
No, it's just pomegranate seeds.
That looks like a vampire drink.
It does.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Medical Media Mixer podcast. If you enjoyed the conversation, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. Your support helps others find the show. Want to keep the conversation going? Follow us on social media. We're at Medical Media Mixer Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and on Pinterest, the Medical Media Mixer board.
If you'd like to support the show and help us grow, check us out on Patreon. Patreon.com/Medical Media Mixer Podcast. And on Buy Me a Coffee, buymeacoffee.com/Medical Media Mixer Podcast. If you have a topic idea, feedback, or just want to say hi, send us an email at medicalmediamixer@gmail.com. You can also stream all of our episodes and find more info on our website, medicalmediamixer.podbean.com. We're available on all major podcast platforms, so no matter where you listen, we're there. Thanks again for listening. And until next time, keep mixing medicine and media.